Now I'm going to close off the show. I just thought, I'm not good at celebrating things, but I did think that I wanted to end this 100th episode by just leaving with you some thoughts that I had about sight reading. So if you don't want to hear those, by all means, thank you for joining me, and thanks to Nick and Louie for your requests. All right, so, after 100 episodes, I myself have had to go through a journey with sight reading in doing the show, in doing this in front of all of you. So it's tested my nerve at points, especially when I've been in an exhausted frame of mind. It's played mind games on me. But that happens so much to anybody that is trying to sight read. So I wanted to leave you with a few of my general thoughts about it. The first thing I want to say is this. The more and more I've been doing this show, I've realized how difficult it is to sight read, especially on the piano. So we're dealing with so many factors. So I don't want anybody to feel like if they can't sight read like me, or if they can't sight read, if you're not comfortable with sight reading, that's okay. And I'm not of the type of mindset that believes that if you can't do it now, if you weren't born with the skill already, that you can't learn how to be better. I don't think that's true. But what I do think is true is that you can't get better by just doing it without some strategies. So here are some strategies I want to leave you with that I think are imperative for being a good reader. One of those things is you need to get better and better at being able to play the piano and to keep your eyes on the music without looking at the keys, without looking at your hands as much as possible. Sometimes you have to. I get that, and I do that too. But I promise you that usually when I look down, I struggle right afterwards. So I'm always working myself at minimizing that. Another thing that I would encourage everyone to work on is to work on your rhythm and sense of pulse. And I don't know at first if the best place to do that is within the context of sight reading. I actually would encourage you to take your solo rep or anything, actually any piece that you know well, and work on counting out loud while you're playing that rep that you know so well. Now, you may find that you have some discrepancies as you start to do that, and that maybe you've learned things not quite so correctly. But that's a good exercise in itself. So if you can get yourself so that you're good at counting out loud within the context of those pieces you feel good about, then when you go to sight read, that counting is already going to be there, and it's going to be a foundational thing. What often happens instead is if you're not good at counting, and then you say, oh, I'm sight reading, therefore I must count out loud, it's not going to go well. Usually doesn't go well. It has to just be a natural thing. Another thing is getting better and better at recognizing patterns in the music. A lot of people ask how I can sight read musically, but it's because I'm reading the notes on the page, not as individual notes, but as patterns. And just as words have different meanings, patterns also have different meanings. And you can at least ascribe to them some sort of emotion or dynamic, like crescendo or decrescendo. You have something to go on, so you're not just approaching it in a typewriter fashion where you're doing note by note, key by key. Another thing is just keep improving your piano technique. The better you can be at negotiating the keyboard and feeling comfortable, the easier sight reading will be. Along with that is getting better and better at coming up with good fingerings on the fly. That partially has to do with technique too, and with pattern reading. So if you can get so that you can look at a page and a pattern and say, well, I think I need to start this pattern on one of my middle fingers because the pattern goes around that middle finger, the better off you'll be. Again, you could practice this in the context of your own solo rap. A lot of music comes with fingerings. A, you can either figure out why those fingerings are in the edition. Why did they put them in there? Or B, you can take a brand new edition that has no fingerings and work on putting fingerings in yourself. Then the last thing I would say, or it kind of is a two-parter, is get better and better at feeling comfortable with leaving notes out. Obviously, I'm quite comfortable with that. So leaving notes out, being okay with wrong notes, and then kind of improvising a little bit. Going back to the pattern reading thing, when you're sight reading using patterns, it's actually easier to predict what's coming next and to improvise. A lot of times it's going to be right. So anyway, those are my little pointers, but please don't be discouraged about sight reading. Just keep doing it and working on these little different facets of things that can improve your reading. Don't just keep doing it day after day, not changing anything, and expect for it to get better. But sight reading is a gift, and sight reading can help open the door to so much great music that you've never read before, as I've discovered with this show. So I hope that says something to somebody.